I will rebuild!
What is up, everyone? Hope you're having an absolutely brilliant day so far today. Today we're going to be taking a look at days 23 through 25 of my progress. Now, you guys know how I love to AFK everything, so I decided to continue on with divination. I started at 35, I went through 40, and then wound up stopping at 45. Then I did the Stolen Hearts quest. This is a quest that is a free-to-play quest, but there are pay-to-play rewards for it. So basically, I had the option a long time ago to either do it in free-to-play and then come back and get the rewards afterward, which I was pretty sure I would forget anyway. So I put it off and I finally got it done at this point. Then I went to the Mage Training Arena out in the wilderness to get a God Cape. Basically, I had hit 60 magic and I wanted a God Staff as well. And before this, I really didn't have any sort of good magic cape slot item, so this is what I decided to go for. I went for Sarah Daman for no real reason in particular other than just the fact that I liked the way it looked. Then while working on my Slayer task, I got an easy clue scroll. Clue scrolls are actually something that I really miss doing from my main, so whenever I see one, I'm just ecstatic that I get an opportunity to do one. And again, just an easy clue, so really nothing special in terms of reward, but it was a nice little break from my Slayer task. I did wind up finishing this task though. Really was not a lot of XP because, it's just low-level Banshees, nothing special at all. But then I decided to hit, what's it called, Tuska, because I really, really wanted to work on getting mostly the sacrifice ability, but I also want to get Tuska's Wrath, Devotion, and maybe even get some of the War Priest and the cosmetics. It's going to be a long time until I have enough points to buy all of those, but just it turns out that you can actually keep doing Tuska as many times in a row as you want. There's no set time you have to go there either, so you can just camp Tuska and grind out points for so long, which is actually absolutely fantastic. It actually wasn't terrible XP either. In the short time I was here, in just a couple runs, I got an agility level, a construction level, and a firemaking level, so I know in the long term this is actually going to help me out a lot. Another cap at the beach for 63,000 construction XP, another 3 levels. I'm really loving how much this is giving me a boost into a buyable skill. I've also started doing Divine Deadfall traps, upgraded from the Divine Bird Snare or whatever I was doing before that. And this is the reason I got my divination up early in this account, is just how much XP you can get from these. I'm primarily going to be putting these into Hunter because I don't really enjoy training Hunter. It's not I guess it's a super fast skill at higher levels once you can finally do Grenwalls, but until that point, these Divine Daily Locations are going to help me so much. I AFK'd up to 50 divination, which is really cool because at this point I can again move up another tier and I can start training at Karamja, which is kind of an inconvenient place to run to, but it's really not too bad. I bought a dragon hatchet because I needed to cut, I think it was something like 52 U-logs for a daily challenge, which I didn't really get anything special from, but I did wind up buying the dragon hatchet, added it to my tool belt, and at this point I was working on thieving. So I was streaming and I was doing clue scrolls that I got from Ham, which is a lot of fun. If you're not already following me on Twitch, twitch.tv/PandaForce26, I'll leave a link for that in the description. I love streaming clue scrolls. I had gotten up to 25 thieving before I decided to take a break, and it was shortly after this that a friend of mine told me that there were several different free items for members in Solomon's General Store, which I had totally forgotten about, one of which is one of my favorite overrides in the game, the Shadowstorm Wand. So I activated that as soon as I could. And after that I went on to do the Dig Site quest, which was kind of tedious, kind of a pain, but in the end, all of these quests I do are going to be a little bit tedious, but are all going to be 100% worth it. It even got me a couple Herblore levels, which is great, and at this point this was the end of day 23 for me. 1294 total level, which is a really good milestone, really approaching that 1300 pretty quickly, and just shy of 8.9 mil total XP. Day 24, another 66k construction XP, another 3 levels, pretty standard, nothing too special there, but again, just loving this free XP. I went on to complete a Growworm task. Growworms I'm just loving because of the drops, and not to mention they have really, really good Slayer XP drops. Then it was off to the Gathixian Cache. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but I'm far enough into divination where this is actually starting to be worth it in terms of the XP I get from it. I just need to really remind myself to actually do it because it'll help me a lot. I AFK'd to 58 divination, which is a really good stopping point. Still short of 60, but pretty far through the levels, enough to say the least. And then I went back to the beach. Now this is the last day of the beach. After this, It was August 1st, I believe, and then just no more beach. Beach is gone. But I got a Phoebe token on my last day, which is fantastic because it's one of the most expensive things that you can get from the beach. And I got it while I was just AFK in construction. I didn't even notice for like 2 minutes. But when I did notice, I was so hyped. I got like 1.2 mil from it, somewhere along those lines. It was just so fucking cool. But I did finish capping at the beach. Another 3 levels, another 65k construction XP, just making so much progress. I decided to record another one of my divine deadfall traps just to show you guys that these really are so worth it. If you're not already making your own divine daily locations and doing them every single day, just please do it. It really just helps so much. It's crazy how much this is boosting my hunter level up. At the end of day 24, though, I had AFK'd up another divination level, a bit over 9.2 mil total XP, 1317 total level, or 1318, and it's just crazy that, I mean, at the same time, I'm not getting a lot of total XP per day, but my total level is really flying up, which is what you would expect with lower levels. But the fact that it's able to stay consistently moving up at this pace is just really motivating. Began day 25 with the farming run. I gotten another 3 farming levels, which is pretty cool to be making this standard progress. So this is another thing I need to really remind myself to actually stay consistent with and do, because it's very, very easy for me to forget to do farm runs a few times a day, or even at all in a day. But after that, it was off to finishing a calphite task. Now, calphites are pretty tedious. I'm not a big fan of them, but at the same time, they're not awful. Like, I'm sure there are worse tasks. It was still like 20k magic XP and 7k slayer XP, so like it could have been something as awful as crawling hands. And then I summoned the courage to go back to Tuska. I was here for hours. I don't want to say it was painful because it was still relatively AFK. I was able to watch TV on my second monitor while I was here, so it wasn't too awful. But it was just the amount of time that I was here was pretty painful. But I did stay long enough to be able to buy Sacrifice, which is amazing. I'm so glad to have this because this is just going to make Slayer and all combat just that much better in the fact that I have one more ability to go through in my rotation, and it's something that's actually going to heal me and help me stay longer on Slayer tasks. Immediately after I left Tuska, I remembered that I didn't take a look at the stats to show you guys the levels I had gotten. So I got 3 agility levels, a divination, a firemaking, and an herblore level, all from that few hours spent at Tuska. So even though it was really tedious and a little bit painful, I did still get number 1, a great ability, and number 2, some really good XP along the way. I went to my clan's citadel and capped primarily on smithing. That's what I was focusing on, but I also had to do some charcoal and some firemaking to be able to do as much smithing as I wanted to because there just wasn't enough resources. But I got a firemaking level and 4 smithing levels, which is really great. I really just want to milk the citadel as much as I can. I will be capping here every single week, and primarily on smithing just because that's a more expensive skill that I really can't afford at this point, and I think that that would just be a really good use of the free XP. A clanmate of mine was about to go dungeoneering, and I decided to tag along for a little bit. It was kind of painful because he wasn't super experienced in dungeoneering, and of course I have dungeoneered past 200 mil, so it's just one of those things that I get really frustrated when people aren't at an equal skill level in dungeoneering. But I noticed before going in that the Slayer level I had gotten, because I had left in the middle of a Slayer task, I had put me at 1337 total level, so I was pretty elite to say the least. Then while I was waiting to dungeoneer with another friend of mine, I decided to work on fletching. I got it up from 14 to 28, really good progress. I was in a mood to get up my low-level skills, so that's what I turned to. And this friend that I went dungeoneering with is someone that I used to key with back in Kier, so that was pretty cool. We did some larges, some smalls, and most of what we were doing was a boss hunt, trying to get I think it was a Sagittarian shortbow, for one of his friends, and I felt kind of like a leech in the fact that I was really noob level and I couldn't open very many doors at all, but at the same time, it was one of the first experiences I've had on this account where I actually felt quick in my dungeoneering, and I was able to help to the degree that I was still gating key doors, and I was very quick at opening those and helping with that, so it felt good to get back into that groove. And that is the conclusion of day 25 at 9.7 mil total XP at 1352 total level. It's just, I love making these videos for you guys. If you love watching them, make sure you subscribe so you stay tuned for the next one. If you're not already following me on Twitch, again, there's going to be a link for that in the description below. I've been streaming a lot more of my progress now that I'm back on campus, and I have the freedom to do that, and it's mostly been quests recently just because I don't like questing that much, and being able to share that with you guys makes it a lot more bearable of an experience, and you guys can always enjoy me getting frustrated at me messing something up because I can't read a guide properly. But other than that, guys, I'm going to say thank you so much again for watching. Have an incredible day, and stay happy. Stay tuned for the next episode, where I will return and I will rebuild.
I will return.